For the last couple of years, I have been running a recruitment company specifically focusing on IT staffing for both US and Canada geos. That scaled to generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue each and every month. But it wasn't always like that. In fact, to get there, it was definitely not an easy ride. Even though I was in the same industry and I had a solid experience for a decade and a half, if I could have avoided many mistakes early on, I could have grown my business even faster and better. Not just me, most of these seasoned businesses in B2B space don't incorporate these few important strategies as part of their day-to-day operations, and they pay a heavy price, which is not growing their business or even giving room to their competition to grow. So today I'm going to show you exactly how I started this, what my experience was from starting the business from scratch, and what I did to scale and automate the business so that you can avoid all the mistakes which I went through. So we all have a breakthrough point personally, which makes us to take the decision of doing something of our own. In this situation where they hit a rock bottom, either emotionally or financially or in career, and that's when the adrenaline comes in, your creative juices flow, and you have no other choice to get the situation right and make it. I was in a very similar situation. I've been working for a professional services company for 4-5 years, and I literally gave my soul to that company. I have built business for them, and I have tripled their revenue in those couple of years which I was working for them. I was handling their complete P&L. It was 20 plus million. I had trained and hired 100 plus employees onshore and offshore, setting up teams in offshore, and I believed it as my own, and I used to put in 80 to 90 hours a week even when I was having personal challenges. I didn't get distracted. My focus and energy was all on my work and for that business. I was believing that I would be the next CEO or a managing director of that company. My pay was like based on a commission, and I was doing really well and I was getting great commission. So the day came and suddenly I was told by the management to hand over few of my clients which groomed to that stage to a different person and focus on something else. I felt instead of getting rewarded, I was punished. Maybe the management thought I don't deserve that much of money in commissions or what I was making. They asked me to cut down my roles and responsibilities and give up few clients which I built and I was also nurturing and building. I could not believe what was happening, but I could not break down. And I was able to recognize the pattern that this is how they did to few other senior folks in the company, and eventually they were let go, and I didn't want to be in that position. I knew I am stronger than that, and I knew I have better skills and experience. So I decided that the effort I put in has to be for me and not for others. So I had to quit my job and started something of my own. Of course, starting a business was not easy, especially in the B2B space, in the professional services space. You need a sizable team, you need different departments, different tools, and of course you need clients as well, right? But since I had experience of every aspect in the industry and I have trained different teams, I was managing different teams, I have implemented the best practices, so I had the knowledge and first-hand experience in every department, and thanks to my MBA from Ivy Business School, I was pretty much equipped for this situation. The challenge was I need to do all by myself. The strategy, the execution, finding clients, marketing, sales. Tired of doing different things in different ways, and getting clients is not easy, and reaching out people is not easy without proper tools and strategy. There was only a handful of things I could do in a day, and most of the time I was feeling frustrated and exhausted, thinking about what happened, and that anger and different emotions and responsibilities. Believe me, if you are in that mindset, you won't be able to think clearly or do anything, including taking care of your personal self, your health, or spending time with your family and loved ones. You really lose track and focus, and so many distractions and confusions on what to do, how to do, when to do. Like, I didn't want it to be like that. I want the momentum going, so I had to take an action. I wanted to be productive and active and busy like how I was. So suddenly a random thought came to me. When I was working and managing the team and their P&L, there was a constant problem we had in our company and the previous company also, which was the bandwidth issue. Consistently, the business won't be always on the higher end. There will be like a winter time, right? So to manage that, we won't be having a full team of employees. We would be optimizing teams. So there used to be always a bandwidth issue when the opportunity arises. And if I had that issue, then definitely most of my competitors or in the industry will have the same issue. They will have the bandwidth issue. So immediately I made a list of companies in that industry and I reached out to them. I offered them a partnering solution with what all services I can do, and I got my first client. I use the partner strategy here. If we play smart and keep our focus on niche service and provide great value, we can turn our competition to our ally. So working with competition is easier for you to grow than working against them, and it provide a momentum for you from day one, and the bankroll is helpful for sure. And the second problem was I could not do everything by myself. Sourcing, scheduling, interviewing people, talking to the clients, feedback, following up with clients, following up with the candidates. It's a continuous process till we fulfill that position. It was daunting, and most of the times your hard work goes in vain. Luckily I had a free labor. My wife, she is smart. I could quickly train her and she was able to support me to the fullest, but that was not sufficient. We had a good problem, because we were getting requirements. So we need to fulfill them. It was challenging most of the times, long days, we get burned out. Being an entrepreneur, it's not easy. You would want to do everything by yourself, and it might look like a good idea because you would save money, but believe me, it's really in fact the worst idea. I know we want to be in a position to hire employees, but we are not in that position because there is so much cost, including wages, benefits, payroll, setup, insurance, and you need to manage that as well, right? You end up doing more work as well for that. So the first thing I did was to hire a VA for me who could help me in all the mundane tasks like following up with candidates, scheduling reports, trackers. It freed my time a lot, and I was actually able to focus on what was priority for me, which is like following up with clients and getting more requirements and things like that. I had a strong experience in setting up offshore teams before, so hiring a VA was the easiest for me. Now the requirement flow was increasing, so I started building up offshore team and trained them. I hired a sourcer, a recruiter, an accounts person, a customer success manager, finance person, HR person, onboarding person, different team, for operations. You're picking up. Now I don't want to wait for the best moment to replace me, not as an owner, but as the task I do. So I wanted to do it now, because in my past experience, I have noticed a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs has this problem of not finding a replacement for their day-to-day task, and they involve so much in it, and they don't have time or energy to focus on growing and expanding and thinking of other services and other revenues which they can bring in. So I didn't want to do that mistake. So you also should not be doing that mistake. If you have budget issues, then hire a VA. Start with one full-time VA. It will help you a lot. Our profit margins were pretty low, but I was focusing more on scaling. So reaching out to the first 50K revenue on monthly basis was a huge milestone, and in no time I was able to double it, triple it, thanks to my offshore teams and the VAs I had. So we were expanding and hiring more team members for new positions. The biggest challenge here was training the newcomers. I'm not talking about freshers, but even if you hire an experienced person, you need to train them the way you work, your strategies, your best practices, right? So that's when I started working on SOPs and KPIs, putting systems in place and processes in place, methods to track them. And I did not do this before because I was going with the flow and trying to figure out on the fly, but I wouldn't do the same way, or you should not be doing it when you start your business. In the initial phase itself, you need to build SOPs and KPIs for your business, otherwise it's a huge mistake. Even if you are a solopreneur and who does everything for you, you need to track yourself. You need to have SOPs for you and KPIs for you to measure your effort and output from the business, how successful you are. I did not realize how much time I was wasting trying to wear multiple hats, so I did not spend much time on training. So then I involved more on training, and then I started training the trainer and building the SOPs and KPIs. So now the business is in autopilot and my team takes care of everything, and I was able to focus on other aspects of the business. I realized the importance of VA and especially the trained SME as VAs, and we are helping other businesses to hire a qualified VA in every department. Now finance, HR, marketing, product specialists for giving demos, and we also help staffing agencies to hire a VA recruiter fully trained and or the entire team if they require. These teams are actually of great support and complements the business operation to be successful in a very fraction of cost. For the three things which helped me for growing my business was: 1, partner strategy; 2, hiring a VA; 3, training SOP and KPI from the beginning. So any business you do, these three things will definitely help you out. Let's say you're a mortgage agent, for example, right? You can partner with a real estate agent, so partnering strategy will help you. Or let's say you're selling a SaaS product, see in your industry who has good market share and who is not doing the services which you're offering, where you can be an add-on to their client, add value to their client as well. So you will benefit from their customers and you will definitely get revenue from day one, and they will benefit from profit sharing also and adding value to their customers so that their customer don't churn out and go to somebody else. So this is just an example, right? And once you use partner strategy, you will quickly bankroll your business and you will grow. So you would definitely need proper team to help, and if you're making good money, you can hire properly or start using VA immediately to free your time. And once the VA comes, then you should not be wasting time on training them and building KPIs and SOPs. Have them ready from day one. So these three things, please follow that: partner strategy, hiring VAs, and implementing proper SOPs and KPIs. This will turn your business to a profitable growth mission. See you in the next video. Until then, stay inspired. Thank you.